Okay, with Justin Walker, really interesting film. The Ancient Timepiece is the short film. It's 5 minutes long. You co-directed this with your daughter, correct?
I did. Yes, we did.
And she
Um,
wrote the story?
she did, yeah. So there was a young writers competition in the UK about 3 years ago. She entered the Ancient Timepiece into that, uh, and it was selected to be in a compilation of short stories called The Glitch. I have it right here. Twisted Words.
Oh, wow.
So it was published, and at that time I said, "Do you think we could make a short film?" And she seemed quite uninterested. Said, "Yeah, yeah," and we left it. And then last year, I reapproached the idea, and she said, "Yeah, let's make it."
So tell me about the Glitch Twisted Tales. So that's it's a bunch of short stories in there?
Yeah, yeah. So some young writers all submitted from the UK, all submitted their short stories, and then they published a whole raft of these short stories into this The Glitch Twisted Words, and it resides in the National Library in London, so it stays there forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great experience for her. You know, she was obviously very excited to get her work published in a book. So yeah,
Like 11 years old. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's very creative.
And then we showed another film of yours in the past, and
Yeah,
The Auditory, which was another, it was a
yeah,
2 minute piece.
yeah.
And was that your daughter who was in that film?
It was, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's she attends something called PQA here in the UK, which is called the Pauline Quirk Academy. Pauline Quirk's a quite famous TV actor from the 70s straight through to present time. She's got these academies for performing arts. So she attends these academies on the weekend, and she's made a few short films with them. She's been on stage at His Majesty's Theatre on the West End and did a play there called Across Borders, I believe. So she does all this stuff. So she's massively interested in acting, a bit of directing, and writing as well. So she's certainly taken a little bit after me.
That's amazing. Okay, so then what kind of prompted you guys? You got a good, I'm assuming you got to change it to a script, a screenplay. What prompted
Yeah.
you guys to make this turn this award-winning
Um,
short story into a film?
well, funny enough, I approached her and she said, "Yeah, let's make it." And then I said, "Do you want to write it?" She went, "No, you can do it." So I really didn't change anything. I wrote a screenplay, but kept really close to the source material. And then asked obviously she could co-direct and star in it because I felt like it was her piece. And she was excited about that. She was more excited about the acting and the directing than the writing of the short film. So I got kind of lumbered with the writing of it, but I didn't really deviate from the source material too much.
So tell me about, okay, so you guys, do you guys make smartphone films, right?
Yeah, yeah. So everything we do, we just produce everything on a smartphone. So we shoot and film and edit on smartphones. Usually a zero budget. So it's kind of very much like guerrilla. I kind of maybe sort of, I would say I'm a hack basically. It's kind of Roger Corman kind of filmmaking, I suppose. Very quick, get it done,
But better
and then
quality though than Corman, right?
well, some Corman films are pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I think for me, as someone who's 45, when I got interested in filmmaking when I was 15 years old, which is 30 years ago, it was a camcorder, and then you had to get the editing unit, and then you had to get the sound mixer. So it was quite a complex thing. Now you've got a phone that has ability to film, edit on, and you can put it out there onto platforms really easy, really quickly. So it's such an accessible thing now. Back when I was 15, it wasn't so accessible to get your films put out there or even make
No.
these films.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing, really.
Well, come on, we're around, I think we're around the same age.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember Steinbeck machines, editing on Steinbeck machines.
Yeah, I mean, I remember editing. So the editing unit would connect to the VHS, the VCR recorder, and you would record onto a VHS tape cassette, and the quality was never great, and the sound was never great. And now you've got pretty good quality films being produced on smartphones. And obviously, in Hollywood, I think Steven Soderbergh did one, and there's a few other directors have used smartphones to make feature films. So I think it
Yeah.
shows you. how far we've come technology wise,
Mm.
and what's accessible for people to go out and make films. They're not restricted so much these days.
Yeah. It's just all about the quality, right? Like it's getting the quality down, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think for me, I feel like quality's the films I produce, the quality's pretty decent. You know, it's not amazing, but it kind of serves the purpose of what it is. I understand where I am as a filmmaker. I always say this, Matthew. I am an amateur filmmaker. I don't say I'm a filmmaker. I always say I am an amateur filmmaker. I make amateur films. Unless I get paid to make a film, I'm not a filmmaker. I'm an amateur filmmaker, which I'm happy about. That doesn't bother me one. But it's ironic because I'm deviating here. I received a parcel this morning. It was a book my wife got me for my birthday. David Lynch's films and his works in his words. And my young daughter, who's 6 years old, said, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's a man called David Lynch. He's a filmmaker." And she said, "Is he as a good filmmaker as you are?" And I said, maybe just
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
Hey, it's all perspective, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, this is true.
but listen, this film, this style that you did serves the
Yeah.
story. Like it's like the way the story is written. It serves it like this. It kind of like it makes sense to film it like this.
Yeah, yeah. I think certainly. I think if you know your limitations and what you can do on a smartphone, it's great. And if you're looking for something more bigger budget, you're probably going to need to get some more semi-professional equipment. But I'm happy in that low budget, no budget remit of making films. I enjoy it. I think it's a challenge to make films with no budget, with limited equipment.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you shot at your house and outside your house.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it was location was where I live and our house. Yeah,
It
so
seems like a
very
pretty
cheap.
cool neighborhood. Like I've talked about this recently on no, like maybe last year on a podcast about the quality of the parks at in UK compared
Ah,
to Canada and US. Like
yeah.
your park is amazing
You think? Yeah, I don't. I
compare
think
in comparison to what it is in
really.
Canada. Yeah.
Well, I think certainly from my generation, we remember parks being a bit different. Parks were quite big when I was growing up. Quite a lot of what people would consider dangerous, really high slides and things like that. And now obviously they're a bit more smaller, but I think they're well maintained in this area I live in, and it's something that the kids use quite a lot. So it's a great outdoor activity for them. But for shooting, it was great. It's just across the road.
Yeah, it's right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is it true that they have like at certain parks they have like coffee places, they have like a coffee person?
So you can go to a number of what we call larger parks, and they'll have a coffee shop there, and then
That's
there might
amazing.
be
Yeah.
someone will roll up in a van and maybe selling beef burgers and hamburgers and things. Yeah. So yeah.
So I don't know why they don't do it here. They could make so much money from the parents by
So
just having a coffee place.
well, yeah, I mean, the big one in this country is ice cream men. Ice
Yeah,
cream
well,
man will be
yeah,
there.
we have those, but those are few and far
Yeah.
between, right? But because the kids are going to complain about it, but it's the coffee for the your that's the
Well,
target audience. They have the money in the pockets, right?
well, and as you know, if you've got kids and you're a certain age, you run on coffee, don't you? You
Yeah.
only coffee gets you through the day. So yeah, but yeah,
But
it's a
it's
big thing
but
in
the ice cream place is the one generational kind of exchange, meaning that you
yeah,
got to take the money, give it to the kid, the kid's going to give it to the person. The
but
coffee places are like, I'm tired. What am I doing here? My kids are running me ragged. Oh my God, there's a coffee place. $2. Here you go.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
very much. It's like
and
it seems like a cash cow.
you get that boost straight away, energy. You're more alert. But yeah, it's certainly a big thing in the UK.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that, and I thought that was a genius idea. So, anyways, all right. So the film starts tone wise like kind of like Doctor Who. Is that a fair way to
Yeah,
describe it?
yeah, yeah. A bit of I think Quatermass as well, kind of Quatermassy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
um, so it's got like undertones of science fiction and things. Yeah, but yeah, I was probably looking at more Quatermassy slash carpentry. That's what I was kind of going for.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So it kind of has a dark kind of tone to it, meaning that what is your 11-year-old daughter like? What's she thinking about?
Yeah, well, I think this is something I've not really discussed with Illy know,
Yeah.
her thought process and what she put into her short story. I know from my perspective when I was writing it, restructuring it, whatever, I thought the film represented our relationship with time and how we're governed by the clock, and everything we do is kind of related to time. So I felt that that was the theme of the film was, you know, time when we're babies and infants, we have no concept of time. And then we get to a
Yeah.
certain age where we are regulated by time. We go to school at a certain time, we have our lunch at a certain time, we leave school, then we go appointments, and we go to work. So everything we do is time related. And then I think there's a part of our life where maybe we're teenagers and we want to time to speed up because we want to be adults and do adult things. And then there's a certain time, maybe we get closer to 60, we want time to slow down because the inevitable is going to happen.
Yeah.
And the ultimate fantasy for human beings is time travel, isn't it? If we could go back to a certain time period for nostalgia or to change something, an event that might, you know, make modern life or present life better, you know, all these kind of things. So I think time is a huge thing for human beings. We're
Yeah.
constrained by it, really. We're constrained by it. We can't control it. I think control we like as human beings. We can't control
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's an interesting kind of concept, and we do love kind of like manipulating the, having machine. We love that stuff.
Yeah,
Like, seems like every movie or film with a time machine is successful. There's something
yeah,
human. I don't know, but it's something that we attract ourselves to, right?
yeah. I think that's it. I think there's a huge part of us that wants to go back to a certain period in our life, whether it was, a good time period, it was it people that have passed on, seeing them again, or is there something in our past that we'd like to change that would alter our future and make it better, right? So I think we're always kind of that's our ultimate fantasy is time travel, going back to a certain time,
Yeah.
seeing certain things.
Has your daughter watched Back to the Future? Because
I
I'm
believe, yeah,
assuming
she
there's a
has
little bit
seen.
of influence within the story
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of yeah, influence. I mean, Back to the Future is like, obviously one of the great films of the 1980s, and I think
Yeah.
it's certainly in our psyche, isn't it? It's a film that we all
Well, the
relate
film
to, and
starts with the clocks, all the clocks, right? Like, it's
yeah,
all about time, right? And Back in Time, the song, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is, yeah, relevant to that, and I think there was probably a little bit of the Zemeckis Back to the Future in my mind when I was making it.
Yeah. I gotta watch that film again. I haven't seen it I haven't seen it maybe in like maybe a decade. So
I think, for me, there's certain films that you can never get bored of. You always enjoy watching them. Back to the Future is
yeah.
definitely one of them in that category.
I like the third one. I like the when they go to the Old West.
I like, I like them all. I think they're
Yeah.
all great, great little
They
films.
give
But
Doc the love story. They make him the main
yeah,
character, right? Yeah.
I think that was a good little twist. We'd see Marty for the two films, and then Doc needed his moment, his storyline. So yeah, I think they all. I mean, there's been talk of a fourth film for many years, but I think like the Indiana Jones films, maybe you shouldn't go back to certain
Yeah.
films. You should leave them.
So I just finished reading the Michael J. Fox book about how
Oh,
he was doing Family Ties and Back to the Future at the same time.
yeah,
It's a good book.
yeah. I did see it out, and it was. I mean, there's something very likable about Michael J. Fox, isn't there?
Yeah.
He seems
And
like a very
he
likable
so
character.
he was doing Family Ties during the day, right? Because he was
And
contractually obligated because they fired Eric Stoltz
Eric's,
like 3 weeks into
yeah,
filming, right? And then they changed the whole shoot to night shifts, and then he would go to work and shoot during the night.
wow, that's dedication.
And he would
That is
sleep in
dedication.
the car, in the travel car from the
Right,
set from Family
right.
Ties to Back to the Future.
And
And
then
they would wrap him at 5 a.m. and then he would sleep for like 3 hours, and he had an 8 a.m. call time on Family Ties.
that, that's amazing, isn't it? That's dedication to your craft.
They'll
And
never do that now. And then, oh yeah, they would
oh
work the weekends too. They would work all the way through the weekends.
wow, really?
Yeah, because he was
Gee,
off on, yeah. They would never get away with that now. They
that is
even do
amazing.
stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a good book, and about how he had like he forgot who he was.
I'm
Because he's playing
surprised.
two different
Probably
characters, right? Yeah.
turns up to
They're
family
really
ties.
different people, right? Alex Keaton
Yeah,
and Marty are different people. Yeah.
yeah. Um, But yeah, you can never, you never tell from his performances that he was probably sleep deprivation, so totally worn out. But yeah, it's fantastic, very fantastic actor. It's very enjoyable to watch him. Um,
All right, so let's talk about the post production of your film. So meaning that obviously you did something in post to get the kind of
yeah,
apocalyptic setting, I guess,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So there's lots of apps and things to create these things, and luckily you can find some stock footage or people who are copyright free material. And that's what it's like when I think when you're a low budget to no budget filmmaker, you're looking for the freebies, looking for the things that you can get for free to incorporate into your film. So there was a little bit of my work and a little bit of other people's work in that kind of the special effects and things. Um, so yeah, it, it it took a lot longer to do the post than it did to actually to make the
I'm
film.
assuming you kind of blew up
Yeah.
your house too, right?
Yeah, my wife was fine with it. She was like, okay, just blow it up, it's okay. Um, but yeah, so those parts were, using a bit of green screen and things were probably more time consuming than anything else because
Yeah,
you're trying to
100%.
get you're
So
trying to get
is there going to
perfection.
be a sequel to this film?
No, that's it. There's no sequel. That is it. We're moving on. I don't think it needs a sequel. I don't think. I think it's unless you went like a Mad Max Road Warrior kind of
Yeah, you
way.
want to see what how she's going to deal with
Yeah.
the afterworld,
So
right?
you know what? I guess it's something that I've not really thought of until you brought it up, Matthew. So yeah, maybe there is some room to maybe go in that direction later on. But yeah, not at the moment. I think we're off to other projects.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like you know be careful what you wish for. She had like a monotonous kind of schedule and then
Yeah, I think that's perfectly sums it up. I think that's what what the character of Lily portrays as a monotonous life, and it's a bit like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. And then she's looking for the quick fix, which is another human trait, isn't it? We want a quick fix, I want the pill that's going to make me lose weight, or. And she went for the quick fix of if I just adjust this timepiece, then things are obviously going to get better, and obviously it doesn't. It gets worse. So it is a case of be careful what you wish for.
yeah. So how do you like the post-production process,
I
editing?
I I love it. I think there was a time when I was younger that I thought it was all about the filming, but I really think that the film comes together in the editing process. I think it's fantastic. I love the editing process. The only problem is you're never satisfied. You're always going back and trying to tweak things here and there.
Yeah.
So I think you become a bit of a perfectionist, and it kind of can be annoying because you're trying to get things done, and you keep going back and going, oh, I want to change this and that, and then sometimes it spoils things because you overwork it, just leave it be. So, but the editing process, and I've been lucky to work with a few musicians who have contributed the music for free, which is fantastic, and it's been really enjoyable work with those guys and their take on the film, what they add the music to it and how they perceive the film and what they feel like the tempo should be of the music. So yeah, I enjoy that probably more than the filming now.
That's great. What about your daughter? How does she like the process?
She enjoys the acting more than the pro.
Yeah,
She
okay.
leaves it. She's like but she enjoys the acting, and obviously for her it was the first time directing, so wasn't it? We never argued. It wasn't a clash. But I think there was a few moments where I said I would like to do this, and she would say, "Well, maybe we could do this," and I say, "Okay," then that's a collaborative um, aspect to things. Or maybe it'd be, "We'll do this shot my way, and you do it your way, and we'll see which is the best." And that's how it kind of worked out. So, but she quite enjoyed that directing, telling people what to do basically, and so yeah, she enjoyed that part. The acting and the directing is something that she really enjoyed.
So how did you guys co-direct? Like what did you like you guys pick out a
Um,
shot list? Like how did it work out?
yeah. So we get the setup. Obviously, she's the actress, so I'm behind the camera, and but it would be right. Well, I would say something along the lines of this is how I envision this, and then she would have her say, and then we would find the perfect compromise um, to that directing. So, and like I just said, then there might be a case where I'd say, can we just shoot it the way I envision it, and then you can shoot it your way, and then we can have a look at these two pieces and see how they are. Um, I think because I'm older, I'm a dad. I think there was. periods where she just let me go and do me thing.
Yeah.
But she felt very strongly if it was a scene that she was invested in, and she felt, and she'd obviously written the story, so she would say, "No, no, this is how I see it," and I would go with it. I'd say, "Okay, then," because it's from your mind, it's your story. I feel like you know this character better than anyone, so I allowed her to have that freedom to do those kind of things.
Yeah. Did you like ask? I'm gonna ask you about her name. It's an interesting name. I don't.
Yeah.
What's the origin of naming her that?
I believe it's Icelandic,
Yeah, it's
or
from yeah. It's like a yeah
so
Norwegian, I think, right? Or no, is it
yeah,
Icelandic?
yeah, yeah. So we just it was a name that we were looking through names one day, and I said that name really stands out, and so it's Islien, but we call it Illy for
Italy?
short.
Okay.
Like so, yeah, 9 times 10 it's Illy, but yeah, it's a few people do say that's a very unusual name. I've never come across this name before, and obviously people have a bit of difficulty pronouncing it sometimes. But when it's shortened to Illy, it's
Does
fine.
she like it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit unique, a bit different, and she's getting to a teenager now, so that might change. I don't know, but
Yeah.
she's yeah, quite fond of it, and yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit
Hopefully she
different.
liked it. It's a really cool name. Islien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
So what's her future? She's gonna get in. Do you think she's gonna
um,
get into acting?
well, I think she enjoys the whole process of performing arts, and I think it's something that she's going to continue with. Um, she did say to me that she wants to be a lawyer, so that I think
Okay.
that's what she would like to do. But I think there's a massive aspect of her that may hope that something transpires through performing arts, whether that's acting or directing or writing. She actually was in the process of writing a novel, so that's ongoing. So she's writing a novel, and hopefully she's going to send it out to some publishers at some point, and maybe get it published. I don't know. That's She's very creative.
So your production company is Illy Phoebes Productions.
Phoebes, yeah,
What's
yeah.
the origin story of
So
that name?
so Illy obviously is Leanne, and I
Okay.
have another daughter. I have another daughter called Phoebe, but we call her Phoebes. So it was the two
Kind of like
kids.
Friends, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Phoebe, yeah, Phoebe from Friends. So it's that. So that was it. Just the two kids' names. And I ran with
Gotcha.
that. Um, but yeah, it's a bit unusual.
And then you guys are working on another film right now. You're in post-production.
But it's out. We just put it out. And it's called The Girl Who Haunted Herself. And it's only shy of 3 minutes, so it's a really short, micro short, I suppose you would call it. Um, and this film was unscripted. I had the basic concept. It was in October time. I had the basic concept and idea of the film, and then for some reason one day, impromptu, let's just shoot without the script. October day, sky very atmospheric, and I felt like this was the right day to shoot for some reason. And we went out, shot the footage in a day. Then I went back and did all the. It took me a lot longer to do, obviously, the post and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's out now. Um, and then I'm thinking of another project as we go on. It's a great bonding experience for me and my daughter. It's
Yeah,
something
it's
that we both
amazing.
enjoy, and we bond over it, and we really enjoy the whole process. And seeing the finished article and the feedback we get, and obviously winning awards is like it's an amazing thing for us as amateurs to get selected for a film festival. I think is pretty cool, and then to win an award is like wow, it's mind blowing. So yeah, we're always appreciative of getting selected and the feedback from people like yourself. And obviously, an award is like the icing, the cherry on the cake, as they say.
Yeah. And is your other daughter going to get into filming, you think, as well?
Mm. I think she does say now and again, when are you going to make a film with me? And I say,
Yeah,
well, still a bit young, but yeah, I think probably there'll be a moment where she'll want to be in a film. So we'll see. We'll
that's
see her
amazing.
ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice family thing to do, bonding, spend time with your kids, being
Yeah,
creative.
you're telling
I'm
stories, right?
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? It's basically putting stuff out there, being creative, and I'm a massive believer in the therapeutic. benefits of creativity.
Yeah.
I think, for me, some people might say, well, are you happy just being an amateur filmmaker? And I think, I've got a happy medium. I've got a job that I really love and enjoy, and I can do this as a hobby and still get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure from it. So it's a happy medium for me. Obviously, if Hollywood came calling and said, "Here's a script, Justin, make the film," I would jump on it and make a film. But that's not really going to happen. So I'm happy doing this. I enjoy doing it. It's very therapeutic for me, and it's something that I always try and get people to be creative. If you can be creative, go out and do something creative.
Yeah.
You get a
Well,
lot back from it.
keep at it, man, and get your daughters. Like
Yeah.
she's in the production company head, so she's got to make films, right?
Well, this is it, yeah. But yeah, no, it's a pleasure for your feedback and all this stuff, and it's a great festival, by the way. What you encompass and all the other things. It's an amazing festival.
Thank you so much.
It
Well, let's
is
talk again when we showcase another film of yours.
excellent. Thank you very much, Matthew. Take
Great.
care.